Hello everybody.
Smile is something special. Oh, really?
So I won't be going over the time remap because I already did that, and also I don't want to waste time because if you did want a time remap and add your clip and all that, what you need to do is press Control or Command I, and then you pick your clip and then you press open, and then once you got your clip in there, you can split it up, and that is Shift Control or Command D, and then to delete it, just press the delete button, and then of course to do time remap, just right click it, and then it's time, and then you press enable time remapping. Now I'm just going to show you this really quick. I'm just going to duplicate this layer, low-key. But anyways, basically what you want to do, I'm going to turn it off for now. What you're going to do is right click it, time remap, enable time remap. And then what you want to do is make sure frame blending is on. So if it's not on there, just press this toggle switches modes button, and then yeah, it should pop up. But then you're going to press it twice. So at first it's going to look something like that, but then when you press it twice, it's going to look like that. And then once you do the time remap, you can of course make a stopwatch for the keyframes or whatever, go forward a few frames, and then you're gonna press it again, and then near the end you can press it one more time. And then once you highlight over these, you can right click one of them, keyframe assistant, easy ease, and then once you go into the graph editor, make sure you only click one of the keyframes. Forgot to mention that. You're gonna go into your graph editor, and then you're just gonna do a graph like this. It's very simple actually. And if you don't understand this, there's a whole bunch of tutorials. But yeah, I hope I explained this right. But yeah, it's pretty simple, not that hard. And then of course, if you want to do it in reverse, you just have to move this back some, and then it should get all the parts before that. And yeah, but I already have all of my time remaps, so this is what it looks like right now. It's actually not bad as I thought it would be, but yeah. But anyways, we're gonna get started. So first thing we're gonna do is have this start off with a slide. So I'm actually gonna pre-compose this by pressing Shift Control or Command C, and then I'm gonna press Move All Attributes into New Composition. Now after that, we're gonna add some motion tile, which is right here, and then boom. And then after that, what we're gonna do is now change the output width to 200 or 300. I'm just gonna do 300 just because. And then after that, I'm gonna press P on the layer, and then once I move the position, it should look like this, period. Anyways, I love the show. After that, what you're gonna do is go forward a few frames, so something like right here. Then you're gonna click the stopwatch for position. Then you're gonna go to the beginning, and you're gonna move this to the left, and then it should move in like that, but we have to graph it of course. Now before we ease any keyframes, we're going to easy ease the position. Now right click the word position, and then you're going to press separate dimensions. And I always forget this step in other videos, but I'm not forgetting today. Y'all, I actually remembered. Anyways, what you need to do is delete this Y position because we're using the X position, so yeah. But then you're gonna easy ease this by right clicking one of the keyframes, keyframe assistant, easy ease. But guys, in the future, I'm not always gonna right click one of them, easy ease. I'm just gonna press my shortcut, which is Y. And if you wanna learn how to do that, I'm gonna show you really quick. So what you're gonna do is go to shortcuts, which is right in edit, and then keyboard shortcuts, and then you click whatever. You're gonna search for easy ease actually. So for me, yeah, it says set keyframe to easy ease, and then I have it set to Y. But if you want to do a different one, just do whatever letter or number or whatever key, and then boom, that's what you can do. But yeah, that's how I did it. But anyways, back to the video. So yeah, now we're gonna edit this graph, and it's very simple. Go into your graph editor, and then what you're gonna do is do a graph like this. Y'all, this is too simple, don't play. And then you're gonna turn on motion blur, of course, because motion blur is the best. But I don't think we should do motion blur. I think we should do a better effect. So instead of using motion blur, guys, what we're gonna be using is Minimax. So once you search for Minimax, you're gonna add that to your clip, and then we're gonna change the direction to just horizontal, and that gives it that motion blur effect like this. We're gonna be using this a lot too, so get ready. But anyways, in the beginning of your clip, you're gonna increase this by a lot, and you're gonna change, well, don't change anything, just press the stopwatch for radius, and then go forward a few frames, and then you're gonna change it to 0, back to its original state. And then once you play it back, it should look something like that. But we also have to easy ease this just because, yeah. And then what you're gonna do is basically do the graph just like we did for the position, like the slide. And then after that, yeah, it looks something like this. And then guys, if you want, I'm gonna have it like zoom in a little because it's like stiff right here. I don't know how to explain it, but what we're gonna do is add a no layer. I'm gonna be using 91's prime tools to make a new no layer, but if you want to do it yourself, press layer, new, then null object, and then cut it. Yeah, simple. But anyways, after this, what you're gonna do is actually link this to the null layer. So link your original clip to the null, and then we're just gonna use scale and position. So press the stopwatch for scale, press S on your keyboard to bring up scale, press P, stopwatch for position, and then you're gonna press U to bring up all your keyframes. And you might have to click it twice, so be ready for that. But anyways, you're gonna go forward a few frames, and then we're basically gonna zoom in on her face. And it's gonna be like, yeah. And then when it zooms in, it's gonna zoom in like right here. So you're gonna easy ease all of these, and we don't need to do separate dimensions for position because we're gonna be using the speed graph. And with the speed graph, you're able to do it without separating the dimensions. And then what you want to do is highlight over this corner and then squeeze it in. Do the same thing for the other side, squeeze it in, and then once you play it back, it should, yeah, you see that. So yeah, very good beginning so far. One thing I am going to do is add another effect. And guys, you don't want to put multiple effects on the same layer just because you don't want it. I don't know how to explain this, but if you add too many effects, it can get all wonky. So what we're going to do is add an adjustment layer. And to do that, press layer, new adjustment layer. But I'm going to be using 91's prime tools again because, like, yeah, good plugin, guys. So yeah, once you make that adjustment layer, we're going to add the effect dissolve luma. And it is a Sapphire plugin, but you can also use luma key. But yeah, dissolve. Where the heck is it? Am I tripping? What the, boy, what the? Wait, okay, let's try this one more time. S underscore dissolve. I cannot find this effect, y'all. Wait, can I just use, no, I'm not using dissolve. Wait, is it luma dissolve? Hold up. Oh, I found it, guys. So add that to your adjustment layer, and then at the beginning, it's gonna be like turned up just a little bit. So it's gonna look like this, more like that. And then you're gonna click the stopwatch for dissolve percentage, and then you're gonna go forward a few keyframes, maybe like 2 or 3. Not 2 or 3, more like, I don't know, just go forward a few frames, and then you're gonna change this back to 0. And then once you play it back, it should like dissolve some. If you want, you can move this out more so then you can like see it dissolve. I actually suggest doing that. It looks a lot better. And then after that, what you're gonna do, you're gonna play this back one more time and you're gonna see how you like it. And realistically for me, I think it's pretty decent. But we need one more thing, and that's to do the same thing with the Minimax. Yeah, I told you we're gonna be using this a lot. Now, what you're gonna do is make another adjustment layer for this actually. And right here when it zooms in, I look, you wanna add one more thing. I just don't know what yet. I'll figure it out later. That's the good thing with After Effects. You can always come back to it and figure it out later. But anyways, what you're gonna do is make one more adjustment layer, and then you're gonna add some Minimax again, and then add that on there. And then you're gonna change the direction to horizontal, just horizontal. And then towards the end, you're gonna make a stopwatch. So right here for radius, and then you're gonna go forward to the end. You're gonna change this to a higher number, and then yeah, you don't need to add a graph for real because it looks pretty good. I'm just gonna move this forward a few frames. Yeah, just one frame further. And then right here, we're gonna make another adjustment layer. And this clip isn't that bad, so realistically, we're just gonna add some Minimax again to finish that like transition. So just horizontal, and then at the beginning, it's gonna be a higher amount. So we're gonna do something like this, and then go forward a few keyframes, and then change it to 0. Now, I'm gonna see how this looks really quick. Okay, so we do need a little bit more motion. So, well, actually we don't really. I'm just gonna move this closer and call it a day. All right, anyways, what you can add is some more dissolve luma. I think dissolve luma is another like really used effect. So just play around with it. I'm gonna try dissolve lens flare. I'm feeling very experimental today. Oh, so I don't know if I like that. I'm gonna try using a little bit of it. Low key. Okay, I don't think I like that low key, but we'll use it another day. Anyways, now what we're gonna do is do like the zoom transition. So what you're gonna do is make a no layer for this. So press or make a new no layer, and then you're gonna link the clip to that null. So yeah, boom, you're gonna link that to the null, and then on your no layer, you're gonna press S, And then after that, you're just gonna press the stopwatch and scale that bad boy in towards the end. So yeah, just scale that in about that much. And then after that, you're gonna highlight over all of it, and then you're gonna easy ease it. And then what you're gonna do is go into your graph editor, change it back to value if you haven't already. And then you're going to do a graph like this. And then hold on. We want our graphs to be pretty fast because I notice in flow edits they're pretty fast for some of those edits, and especially with like the sound, depending on the sound, you might need a faster look. So yeah, I'm gonna be using like faster graphs. But if your music is slower, that's totally okay. But what I will add to this is motion blur, because that's what we do need, of course. I'm gonna move this keyframe back, and then I'm going to just edit it to my liking. So it should look something kind of like this if you want, like, yeah. And then guys, when it zooms in, we don't need to add motion tile because we're just gonna have it scale into him. So basically what we're gonna do, click that scale stopwatch at the beginning, go forward a few frames, and then you're just gonna scale in on Pennywise basically. And then after that, you're gonna highlight over them, easy ease them, go into your graph editor, and then do this graph like this. And then turn on motion blur. Yeah, motion blur, guys. Very important. And then you're gonna play it back and see how it looks. Oh yeah, that looks pretty good. But one thing that I would add possibly is the dissolve luma. So basically what I like to do is make an adjustment layer, and then after that I'm gonna add that dissolve luma. Oh wait, that's dissolve luma flare. No, we do not want that. Add s_dissolve luma or luma key, and then we're just gonna have it go from 0 to a set amount and then back to 0. So click the stopwatch, go to the part where it's like transitioning, and you're gonna set that to a higher amount, probably like, I'll just do 23, and then go forward a few more frames and then change it to 0. And then yeah, we should get something like that. And then of course you can change the softness or the hardness. I think doing a little bit softer is good. And then also I'm trying to see what it looks like with different blending modes, but I don't think it changes anything, so we're just gonna leave that. But one thing we're going to try to add is some ripple. So we're going to add one more adjustment layer. And then after that, we're going to search for ripple. And basically with the ripple, I don't know how to explain this effect, but yeah. Anyways, what we're going to do is add the effect ripple on there. And then this is just like, kind of like turbulent displace. I do want to end up using that later, so we'll save that for later. But what we're going to do is change it to 50 for the beginning. And basically, we're just going to change some of these settings first. We're gonna lower the wave speed just a bit, so we're gonna do like 0.5, and then you're gonna change the wave width, and then if it's higher it's gonna be like less ripples, if it's lower it's gonna be more. But yeah, I think about 40-50 is good. So yep, do that, and then we're not gonna really mess with wave height, because if you increase it, it looks like that a little bit too much. But yeah, after that, you're just going to go to the beginning of the clip and then click the stopwatch for the radius, which should be at 50, and then go forward a few frames and change it to 0. Now, when you play this back, you aren't going to notice like the ripple really, but that's why we need to change the ripple phase. So towards the end, it's going to go, well, leave it there. Just click the stopwatch button for that. And then at the beginning, we're going to change it to a higher amount. And then once you play it back, you should get a little bit more ripple. And then of course you can easy ease this just so it's like not stiff. And then we're gonna do something like this. And then yeah, basically we're gonna shorten this adjustment layer because it's too long. And then when we add a shake, it's gonna look a lot better, but you can see the ripple, and it's very, very, very tough, right guys? Now guys, we're going to get a little bit more into this low shutter transition. So for this one, what we're gonna do is actually pre-compose this, but I low-key don't want to, so we're gonna make another no layer. So make a new no layer. This is gonna be we're gonna have a lot more actually, I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. But anyways, we're gonna link this clip to the no layer yet again, and then after that we're gonna have to add motion tile to this clip. So search up motion tile, okay, add that to the clip, and then we're gonna change the width and the height to 200. And then after that, what we're gonna do is basically keyframe this. So we're going to be messing with position for this one, and what we need to do is press the stopwatch for that. So press P on your keyboard to bring up position, click stopwatch, and then you're going to go forward a few frames, and then you're going to go to the side like this, and then you're going to go up a smidge, but not yet, guys, not yet actually. Yeah, so go to the side, and then you're gonna go all the way to the end for this part, and we're gonna need to move this over a little, and then you're going to go over just a little bit more, and then you're gonna go up, if this makes sense. And it should like do this like motion like this, like, yeah, it's gonna look weird, but like trust. But yeah, it should look something like that. And basically we want it to transition. You're about to see, y'all, but yeah, it should be going upwards into the transition. And if you want, you can easy ease this, and then after that you can try to edit the graph. It's going to be a little bit harder, but yeah, I'm going to try using speed graph low-key. So in the first part of your graph, it's going to be like this, so just like ease this a little bit, not too much though, but yeah, it should look something like that. And I don't think you need to change anything else after that, so you can keep that. And then guys, what you're gonna do is add an adjustment layer again, I know, and then you're gonna add some more minimax. Now after you add the minimax, you're gonna change this to just horizontal, and at the beginning it's gonna be horizontal, so click that stopwatch before it even moves, and then you're gonna go forward a few frames until it, like, you know, goes upwards, I guess. You're gonna increase that just a little bit, and then after that you're gonna make one more adjustment layer for this clip, add minimax, change this to vertical, and then you're gonna click the stopwatch for radius, go forward a few frames, and then you're gonna make it go upwards just like that. And then you can delete this keyframe if you want, because it's low-key in the way, so it should be going upwards after this point. I'm trying my best to explain this, guys, but yeah, it should look something like this. And then there should be like a horizontal frame right here, but we like don't have it, so basically we're going to have to make it our own. Guys, this is fun, right? So much fun. Anyways, on one of your adjustment layers, you can search up horizontal blur. Basically horizontal, where are my effects, bro? So search for horizontal blur, just find it. Horizontal, y'all, I cannot find this blur. What the heck? Low key, I know I'm tripping. Okay, oh wait, it's directional blur. Sorry guys, so it's called directional blur. I'm low key stupid, but anyways, you're gonna add that to the other one of your adjustment layers, just one of them, and then we're gonna change the blur length, and you're going to change the direction of it, so it should be going like sideways a little, kind of like this, but you can't really see it, so what you're going to need to do is just leave it alone for now. But yeah, I hope you guys get the vision. Like, I really hope you guys get like what I'm trying to do. But anyways, we have that, so I think the horizontal minimax is good. Yeah, we're going to figure it out. But anyways, now we're going to finish this clip. And for this part, we're going to have to do the like motion like position for this clip, so get ready for that. Now, if you have been listening, you're going to add motion tile. Yes, we're going to add motion tile to this next clip. And then we're going to change the output width to what number? Yup, 200. Guys, I'm trying to be like a teacher. And then, yeah. And then once we press P on our keyboard, we click the what? The stopwatch. Yup. Make sure at the beginning of your clip. And then last thing that we need to do is separate dimensions. You probably didn't say that, but it's okay. So separate dimensions, and then we're going to be messing with the Y position. So delete the X position. And then after that, it's going to end, like the slide is going to end about here. So you're going to move this first keyframe over here, and then go back to the beginning, and then change this. And it's going to go down first. Low key, I need to pre-compose this. Yeah, I'll be back. Anyways, add motion tile. Change this to 200, change this to 200, and then after that, you're going to press P, click the stopwatch in the middle of the clip, go to the beginning, and then you're going to make it go down. And then you're going to highlight over these, easy ease, but first, before you do that, separate dimensions. I low-key just forgot about that, but it's okay. Delete the X position, and then easy ease the Y position. Alright, now you can do the graph. And we're going to be using value graph, and of course, do a graph like this, do a graph like this. Ooh, I look, you went the wrong way. Wait, did I? I don't think I did actually. Oh, yeah, I didn't. Anyways, after that, we're going to add an adjustment layer. We're going to add minimax, and then after we've added minimax, we're going to change this direction to just vertical, and then we're going to increase it for the beginning. Click the radius button, stopwatch, go forward a few frames, and then change it to 0. And then once you play back, it should look something like this. And then if you want to make it less stiff, you can add a scale graph for stopwatch and make it zoom in just a bit when it's like sliding, just so it's like extra movement. Easy ease that, and then do a little graph like this. It doesn't have to be real tight, but yeah. If you want, it can be tight, and that's what makes it faster. But yeah, it's low-key about to zoom in though. But yeah. Alright guys, so we've got most of this first part done, and now we move on to my favorite part, which is the deadlights. I freaking love his deadlights. I don't know what it is, but I'm like in a trance right now. I'm low-key a it freak. Anyways, basically what we're gonna do for this part is we're gonna have it rotate like really fast. And this part, you want to make it rotate it without, you want to make it rotate. Anyways, you want to make it rotate without looking stiff. So what we're gonna do is actually make a no layer for this, and then you're gonna link the clip to the no layer, and then after that you're gonna press S on the no layer, click the stopwatch, then press R, click the stopwatch, and then you're gonna go forward a few frames, and you're gonna have it rotate and scale. So it's gonna scale in while rotating, and you don't want to do too much scale, because if you do too much, it's gonna look really bad. So we're just doing a little bit. Most of it is gonna be the rotation, and then move this back here, and then you're gonna highlight over all these, easy ease, and then what you're gonna do is go into the graph editor, click one of the things by the way, and then you're gonna do a graph like this. Now this movement is gonna be really fast, but we're trying to make it look smooth while also being fast, and that's the hard part, but we're gonna get through it together. And then you're gonna move the other graph like this, guys. Alright, and then once you play it back, once you play it back, you can't really see the rotation, and that is because it's not, there's no motion blur, and it's really ugly. So we're gonna turn on motion blur really quick, and we're gonna see how it looks with the Minimax, which it shouldn't like change too much actually, but it does look a little bit bad with the motion blur, but it looks pretty good at the same time. But anyways, we're gonna want to move this over a little bit because it's like stiff. But anyways, yeah, so you should start seeing the motion blur like start, and if you want, you can actually move the rotation over a little, increase it a little bit more, and then put it back to where it was, and then you really see the motion blur. But you also don't want too much, but it's fine. I think this is pretty good. And now guys, for this part, we're gonna have to pre-compose this clip as well, and then that's Shift Command or Control D, and then we're gonna add motion tile once again, and it's pretty repetitive guys, so yeah, but we're gonna be adding a whole bunch of new stuff in a second. But we're gonna add output width, 200 for output width, and then 200 for output height, and then we're finishing the rotation. So what we're doing for this part is it's going to be scaling in while rotating. So press stopwatch for scale, press stopwatch for R, and the R rotation should be starting like, it should start right here, and then you're going to go forward a few frames, and then it should be going to 0, and then for scale it should go from 100 to a higher amount, which is whatever. And then you're going to press U on your keyboard to bring up all your keyframes. Easy ease these, and then after that you're just going to do the same step of graphing it, but you're going to do a graph like this. Boop beep bop boop boop boop. And then same thing for the other one, like this. And then turn on motion blur, of course. And then I'm just going to move this back one frame. And then since this movement is fast, you don't want the keyframes to be out too much. So yeah, I think that's the hard part, which is making it look fast and smooth. Now it looks like this. Not bad actually. It could have been worse. But what I'm going to do for this part is have it scale in. So I'm going to make a no layer, and then I'm going to link it to the no layer, the clip. And then I'm going to have it scale in ever so slightly, just so it's like movement. And then I'm going to add position scale as well. So then it's like it's zooming into the deadlights instead of like off frame, if that makes sense. So we're going to just move that up some. And then you're just going to space these out so it's not too fast. And then once you play this back, it should look something like that. And then also, I kind of want to, I don't know how to explain this, but we're just going to add some ripple. So we're going to make an adjustment layer, and then you're going to add some ripple, which is the other one, which is dissolve ripple. So we're going to search for dissolve ripple. Hold on. Where's a ripple dissolve? Anyways, this is a BCC plugin, so yeah, if you don't have that, that's totally okay. Just use regular ripple or find an overlay. but basically it's pretty good at starting the ripple, like doing it naturally. So it's gonna look something like this, and then we're gonna add a shake, of course. And yeah, and then guys, I kind of want to do like this deadlight effect, which I saw from this TikTok edit. That's what inspired me, honestly, and we're just gonna be repeating that kind of, but a little bit different. But anyways, basically what's gonna happen is, let's see, I'm gonna have it zoom out, I think. Yeah, so what I'm gonna do is make a new shape layer. So layer, new, or should I do solid? I'll do a solid, and on these solids we're gonna make the color like orange, basically the same as the deadlights. And then the deadlights are like white though, they're like yellowish but white, and I don't even know what the heck. Okay, we're gonna make the deadlights yellowish orangish, yeah, this color. And then you're gonna press OK, and then you're gonna move this to the top of your clip, and then we're gonna make a circular mask, and we're gonna use ellipse tool, and then you're gonna basically drag on your screen, and while dragging you're gonna hold shift to make it a perfect circle, and then let go of everything, and then it should be a perfect circle. And now we just need to cut this, so shift control D to cut the axis away, and then you're gonna cut this part off. And now we're gonna like make the deadlights. So basically we need to center this in the anchor point, so right click it, and then you're gonna do transform, center anchor point, and layer content, and then we're basically going to move that in the center. And then you're gonna scale it down pressing S on your keyboard, and basically we're gonna do 3 circles. So once you scale it down to the like scale of the deadlights, you're gonna duplicate it twice, and then you're gonna select all these images. So hold shift while selecting these, and then I'm just gonna change the color so it's a little like easier to see. And then basically the deadlights are in this like fidget spinner way, whatever, look. So it should look something like that, and you're just gonna move those with the cursor. And then what you're gonna do now is make a no layer for the 3 dots or circles or deadlights. And then yeah, we're gonna make a no layer, and then you're gonna hold shift, click the top layer, and then click the bottom layer for this, for the deadlights, the shape layers, solids. And then you're gonna link this to the no layer, turn on motion blur for all of this, and then basically what we're gonna do is have it rotate. And we also need to center the anchor point, so press A, and then try to center it in the like center of the circles, and then it should move like that. And then basically we're gonna have it rotate out of his mouth, so it's gonna rotate around here. I kind of want it to rotate like around here, so basically highlight over these, easy ease them, and then we're gonna do a speed graph, and then it's gonna be right here where it like rotates for real. And then after that we're gonna just play this back real quick, and then yeah, it's gonna rotate out of here, and then we're gonna press S, and we're gonna do the exact same graph, and then it's gonna start at 0, and then yeah, it's gonna come out at the same time of the rotation. So press U on your keyboard, and then you want to match up the rotation with this point right here. So well, the graph with this point, so the graph should be the exact same. So easy ease all that, and then you're just gonna do the same graph, and you want to make sure it's around the same spot, and then it should move out at the same time. It is a little bit too fast for me, so what I'm gonna do is make this a little bit less tight, so it should look something more like that. And then I'm also gonna change the rotation graph, I think. Yeah, okay, now we kind of want it to be like where it kind of looks like he's biting down, and so what I'm gonna do is basically have the particles like move out the way, basically like explode. Yeah, and so I'm gonna take all of this, including a no layer, and put it above the next clip, and then I'm just gonna lengthen it. So we're gonna stretch this out, yeah, and then it's gonna explode on the next clip. So basically we're gonna press P, click the stopwatch for position, and then go forward a few frames, and then it's gonna explode out of frame. And you can just move your mouse cursor to move it out of frame. And then we're gonna do it for this particle as well. We're doing it for all of them. So yeah, for this one it would explode, oops, did not mean to do that, it would explode this way. And then for the last one it would explode like this. Wait, oop, what the heck, it would explode this way, pew. And then after that what you're gonna do is basically have it graph it, that's what I meant. So highlight over all of this, easy ease, and then instead of doing the value graph we're gonna use speed graph. So at the beginning you're just gonna move this over here, and then I'm just gonna watch it really quick. Okay, we're also gonna do this and move it this way, and then it should, yeah, it looks more like it exploded. And then guys, the last thing that I want to add to this is deep glow. So I'm just going to pre-compose all of this right here. And then you can also add glow if you want, but deep glow is just better in general. Deep glow is my baby. And then it should look more like a dead light. I highly suggest, yeah, I think that's good. Wait, I need to search up what a dead light looks like for real. Hold on. I know what it looks like, but like the color. Hold on, because it looks white on the screen, but yes, it's yellow or binding white. Cause look, the center is like white and then around it is like yellowish. I'm just gonna make it less yellow because honestly, they look like yellow tonsil stones. Hold up. Okay, if you want to change the color, just add fill color. Well, add fill, and then I'm just changing this to white. Well, yellowish whitish color. And then you're just gonna paste it onto the other circles, honestly. Oh yeah, that looks a lot better, honestly. Okay, so after that, alright guys, so for this part right here, I have finished the deadlight part. I think that part looks pretty cool. For this part, I just want to add like some dissolve luma, honestly. I don't want to add many effects on here because like this effect in general is just cool. So I'm just gonna search for dissolve, hold on, s underscore dissolve luma, and then basically, oh, hello audio from underneath. I need to disable that. Alright, so it's gonna go from 13% to 0, and then yeah, this should help with, yeah. Alright, anyways, after this part, it's basically the last clip, which is gonna be like a simple zoom out. Or should I do, actually, I'm gonna do another like mini max slide. Alright, now for this one, what I'm gonna do is add motion tile. We're only gonna add motion blur 2 more times, guys. So search for motion tile, and then you're gonna add that to the clip. And then after that, you're gonna change the output width to 200 again, and then do output height to 200. And then you're gonna do position and scale. But for this one, we're gonna go towards the end of the clip, and then it's gonna go position this way just a little, and then majority of it is gonna be scale. But low key, I still, oh my gosh, I need to pre-compose this again. I'm irritated. Alright. Anyways, pre-compose this if you need to. I need to because I screen recorded this and the black bars were around it. But anyways, so we're gonna do 200 for width, 200 for height, position, stopwatch, scale, stopwatch, and then go towards the end like I was saying. Position it over just a little bit, and then majority of it's gonna be scale. And then you're gonna like position it down just a little bit. Wait, actually it's gonna go the other way. So I'm just gonna position it this way and have it scale in instead. Sorry guys. I'm basically having it zoom in with my clip, if that makes sense. Yeah, basically what's happening is, you guys see that, like how it zooms in like that. I'm just being smart, guys, like, but it is a little bit offbeat, so I'm just gonna have to cut this part off real quick. But what I'm gonna do is easy ease these, but before we do that, I need to separate the dimensions for the position, and then we're just going to highlight over all these, easy ease, and then I'm going to change this to value graph. First, I need to click on one of these, and then we're just going to do the same thing with the graph. I hope you guys know what to do from now on. Yeah, once you learn After Effects, guys, it's pretty easy. Then we're going to do something like this, and then we're also going to do scale and do something like this, and then yeah. This may look a little wonky. Oh, it's not actually that bad. Anyways, after we do that, we're now going to add the directional blur. We actually can just turn on motion blur, but turn on mirror edges for this one because I low-key don't like the look without the mirror edges. So yeah, turn that on. And then we're just gonna add some minimax. We don't need an adjustment layer because we actually don't have that many effects on it. But yeah, we're gonna do horizontal for this one. You can do vertical, but yeah, it's really up to you because it's going mostly horizontal, honestly. So we're just gonna do horizontal, and then yeah, change this to 0 for the beginning, and then yeah, as you can see, it just adds that like one framer kind of at the end, and then it like goes into this. Yeah, it's really fast, but like it looks really good with the one framer. Like, it's not even one frame, it's mostly one frame though. But I don't know what this Minimax does, it just looks good. Sorry, I'm not crashing out, guys. And then for this last part, I don't think we need to do position things really. We just need to add Minimax to this. Just do horizontal, And then this one's going to be more so 1 frame. So we'll do 2 frames actually. And then it's going to go from 200, well, at the beginning, 192 for me. And then go forward 2 frames and then change it to 0. And then, yeah, it looks pretty smooth. And then at the end, it like does this like reverse thing. So what I'm going to do is add 1 more adjustment layer. And then I'm just going to make it flicker using the effect S_flicker. Hold on. And then, yeah, I'm just going to set a timer, stopwatch I meant. For amplitude, make sure it's at 0, and then go forward towards the end. And then we're going to change that to a higher amount. Yeah. And then, guys, after that, it's just going to loop. So basically, we're going to add the like start of the transition for like the first one. Oh, guys, my brain is low-key like melting right now. All this mini max is melting my brain. But basically, we're going to use position. We do not. Yes, we do. We need to add motion tile one more time, guys. This is the last time. Add motion tile. Change the output width to 200. We don't need to do the height. Oh, shoot. This is on the wrong layer. Put that on the actual clip. Oh, okay. So actually, just add a no layer, guys. I think no layers are just way simpler. This is why I don't do everything on the same layer. But basically, press P on the layer after you've added motion tile to your clip. Well, actually, wait. Okay, yeah. So add motion tile to your clip. Make sure it's at 200, and then you're gonna link the clip to the no layer, and then you're gonna press stopwatch for position. Go forward a few frames, and then it's gonna go this way. Wait, which way would it go? Hold on. I'm trying to think, y'all, because at the beginning it goes from left to right. Okay, yeah. So it would go from this. Wait, it would go the opposite way. Yes, it would. I think. Yes. Okay. Yeah, it would. Okay. And then, guys, what you're going to do after that, before you easy ease it, is separate the dimensions. So right click the word position, separate dimensions, and then we're going to remove the thing for Y position. Sorry. Easy ease this, and then you're going to do value graph something like this. Same thing as an out transition graph, guys. Yeah. Or is it in transition? Anyways, after that, we're actually going to add an adjustment layer one more time, and that is going to be for the effect Minimax. Let's go. Guys, we're using Minimax 5,000 times for this video. And then change this to just horizontal. And then, yeah, I feel like the higher amount, the better it looks, low-key. Oh, yeah, that looks tough. Okay, yeah. We're keeping this, guys. I don't care. Anyways, after that, it loops. Like, literally, we're done with all the whatever that's called. Anyways, this is how it should look so far, guys. It does look a little boneless right now, but that's when we add shakes. Now, I just realized that we're not done with the adjustment layers because that's where we add the shakes, but yeah, the shakes should be a lot easier and less repetitive because we're just going to be copying and pasting a bunch of them, honestly. So make a new adjustment layer. I'm going to put this at the very top of the thing so you can see it, and then we're just going to change this to yellow. No, I want to do blue. All right. No, I want to do cyan. All right. So for this, we're going to use S_dissolve shake. If you do not have S_dissolve shake, you can make them yourself. And I do not feel like making them myself right now, so I'll make a shake video soon, guys. Trust. Next year, I'll make a shake tutorial because this is going to be my last video of 2025. But for 2026, be ready because I'm teaching y'all everything. But after this, guys, basically the dissolve percentage is going. This is not S_dissolve shake. Hold up. Okay, add S_dissolve shake on your adjustment layer. You're going to change the dissolve percentage to about 10 or 9. And then make sure your reflect is on. Yeah, it should be on automatically. And then I'm going to turn down dissolve speed. And then I'm just going to see what it looks like without changing anything for real. But at the beginning, set the stopwatch should be at 10. Go forward a few frames and then change it to 0. And then once you play it back, it should look something. Yeah, I feel like the beginning right here is like stiff. But anyways, after that, you're going to duplicate the shake by pressing Control or Command D. And then we're going to put it over another spot. But honestly, I suggest editing all the shakes because you don't want it to look the same for all of them. So yeah, I kind of like the shake on this part too. But guys, this is the part where I really wanted to add the shake. So you're going to duplicate the shake one more time for like, yeah. And then basically the part where this part right here is like kind of stiff. So I kind of want to do a rotate shake for this part. So what you're going to do is increase the tilt shake just a little bit under the settings. And then after that, you're going to change the dissolve speed to something wait, something a bit higher, because this transition is fast, so the shake is going to be fast. Yeah. And then for this part right here, we're going to duplicate this second shake, put this over here, and then we're going to obviously edit that just a bit. Honestly, this part doesn't really need a shake, but I will add a shake right here when he like opens his mouth. But yeah, I kind of want the shake to be a bit more aggressive, so at this first keyframe, I'm going to increase the dissolve percentage. Yeah. And then I'm going to duplicate this shake, so then it's like a double shake. Wait, actually I lied. But anyways. And then for this part, I want an aggressive shake yet again, because yeah, so we're just going to duplicate this shake. And then I'm going to reuse the same shake right here. But honestly, when I add the shake right here, it is a bit stiff, so I'm not going to add a shake right there. I think I want to add a shake over this part where the guy's mouth is literally mirroring and doing this cool effect. And then, yeah, I think this part right here, where it transitions into Will, this part doesn't really need a shake, honestly, because I feel like that part's good. But yeah, there is a bit of mirroring right here, but yeah. I feel like I can zoom in a little bit so then it's like less of it. But yeah, I think the shakes aren't bad. Alright, so this is what I have so far. I kind of don't like this rotation part right here. I'm not gonna lie. It's a bit ugly. But the thing about this part is I can of course edit it because yeah, the keyframes are still here. So what I am going to do is make less of it. Yeah. But then it's like stiff, low-key. Alright, so once you have majority of it done, we're done with all the like effects and like the physical effects at least. But now we move on to the last part, which is the auditorial effects. Audio effects. Special sound effects, guys. Sound effects. Anyways, we're just gonna duplicate, pre-compose all of this. So Shift Command C, and then you're gonna move attributes into the composition, pre-compose all of that, and then I'm going to, after you pre-compose it, these black lines, like when the shakes appear, I do not like them. So I'm gonna zoom into this whole edit just a bit. So where is it? Like, okay. So right here, I'm just gonna zoom it in until that disappears. And then, yeah, the edit is gonna be a bit zoomed in, but like the audience won't be able to tell for real unless they've seen the tutorial or the edit, and you guys just saw that, but oh well. Okay, I'm only gonna zoom in where the lines really show. So it's really only the part where Will is, because it's really not that noticeable. But yeah, I think the rest is fine for real. But yeah, anyways, yeah, the sound effects, there's so many sound effects online, guys. Honestly, what I use is either YouTube swooshes, those are pretty good. And then also, I think I have a sound effects pack, and I will link it in the description. Wait, do I still have that? Loki, do I have that? Hold on, guys. I'm trying to see if I have the sound effects. Okay, I don't have that, but what I do have are light leaks, and I think light leaks look like really good with this flow style, so I highly suggest using those. But yeah, I'm just gonna link everything that I have down below that I think would be useful for you guys, because I'm such a good YouTuber and I'm such a good person. Okay, I look, you want to download this. But anyways, I will be linking down some sound effects below, so I suggest using those. But yeah, I'm gonna add an overlay over this right here, and let's see, hold on. Okay, low-key, that's pretty good. Alright guys, I'm gonna look at my sound effects really quick. But yeah, oh shoot, my sound effects are right here. No, yeah, I have like a bunch of sound effects, so I'll link those for sure. But yeah, guys, I honestly don't feel like adding sound effects, but sound effects on flow edits are really good, and it just adds to the flow. And I feel like that's the whole point of flow. It's just sound effects and like those transitions, and yeah, it just flows. Like, that's what a flow edit is. Y'all, I'm sleepy. It's Christmas Eve, guys. But yeah, after you have finished all of that, just pre-compose everything that you've got, and then it just replays. So I'm just gonna have it duplicate. And then one thing I do want to add is some RSB, like just a little bit. Oh, that's low-key tough. Alright, now for this last part, you can add optional panning. It's up to you for real. But yeah, I'm just gonna add a little bit just so it's like not too stiff. And then also, I like to use the Z shake, which zooms it in a bit, just to add more, I don't know. Now, another thing that I suggest playing with is the frame rate. Yeah, that's the last thing I wanted to talk about for real. But yeah, mine is on 24 frames per second, by the way. Very, 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 very suggested frame rate, 24. Or probably 12, but 24 is a pretty good start. But yeah, guys, last thing I'm going to be adding is some RSMB, just a little extra motion blur, and then that's it. Make sure the settings aren't too high because it would look ugly. I'm going to do 0.2 probably. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm not gonna lie, this wasn't my best edit. I think trying to rush, don't try to rush for your edit. Take your time, obviously. It's Christmas Eve. I'm trying to get a video out for the last video of the year. But seriously, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have a blessed new year. And I love you guys so much. For real, for real. Thank you guys for all the support through 2025. I've grown so much this year. And I'm excited to grow even more with you guys. And I love you. Stay safe. And I will see you in the next video. Bye. Last bye for 2025. Okay, bye.